Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojenta, and we begin with legislative matters. The House of Representatives has considered and approved a legislation which seeks to enhance the power of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) to prosecute drugs-related offences. The bill amending the NDLEA Act made provisions to strengthen operations of the agency by enabling it to establish laboratories. Other provisions in the amended Act empowers NDLEA to update lists of dangerous drugs and review penalty on drug-related offences in Nigeria. The House noted that the amendment would add impetus to current efforts of the NDLEA to rid the country of drug trafficking and abuse. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had a closed-door meeting with the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, Melo Kolo Kyari. Also at the meeting was the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Details of their discussions were not made known, but further expressing the position of government on subsidy removal at a press briefing after the meeting, Mele Kyari says the nation can no longer afford payment of subsidy on petroleum products. The Presidential Election Petition Court has adjourned to 1st June 2023 for further hearing of the petition filed by Peter Obi and Labour Party challenging the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and All Progressives Congress. Austin Anyebe reports that counsel to Peter Obi and Labour Party, Awakalu SAN, moved for the adjournment when the case was called. He prayed the court to grant the adjournment to enable him address a challenge he is contending with at the Secretariat, as two of his key staff are ill, promising to come back 1st of June 2023 to continue with proceeding vigorously. The respondents' counsel, including Abubakar Mahmoud Wale, Olanipekun, and Latif Fagbemi, all senior advocates of Nigeria, did not oppose the application, hence it was granted by the courts. As President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration gradually settles down for the task of governance, APC Amalgamated Support Group has called on Nigerians to give their full support to the new administration. The group made the call during an inauguration party organized to celebrate a renewed hope for Nigeria. Aisha Bashir reports. Okay, we'll bring you that report subsequently. After the successful swearing-in of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the 16th Nigerian leader, the society's expectations of him are high. Tessio Mary was out to get a feel of it in this report. I'm sorry that report is not ready. We hope to bring it to you subsequently as well. Now, the Nigerian agricultural development drive is expected to have an accelerated but steady growth in the next 4 years. This is based on the policy and programs proposed by the new administration under the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Our agriculture correspondent takes a look at some of the proposed policies and programs and what will be the impact on the nation's food production as well as the life of smallholder farmers.
Agriculture economists are of the view that the sovereignty of a nation is measured based on the country's ability to feed it or herself. Nigeria, apart from a sovereign nation, the country is not also dependent on other nations for staple food. This, however, is not without challenges in areas of production, storage, processing, and marketing.
Lack of consistent access to affordable finance, unavailability of quality inputs, skyrocketing prices of input, high post-harvest losses, fragmented and unstructured market, and dangers associated with negative climate change.
We had a situation where we had cashew nuts close to $300 million, stranded in the port because of the processes, the congestion, to have this cashew move to the ultimate users.
My administration.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says his administration has identified these challenges and outlined how the government will address the issues.
A nationwide program for the storage and facilities to reduce spoilage and waste. All of that will be undertaken.
Commodity exchange boards will be reintroduced under the new administration. The boards will be responsible for granting minimum prices for certain crops and animal products.
Agricultural hubs will be created throughout the nation to increase production and engage in credit, promote credit, engage in value-added processing.
One major challenge confronting food production and the economic and social life of farmers is conflict with herders over grazing areas. President Bola Tinubu says the issue will be addressed through a modern approach to livestock rearing.
The livestock will introduce the best modern practices and steps taken to minimize the perennial conflict.
While analyzing the government proposals, farmers' associations believe if all things go as planned, Nigeria will continue to be the largest producer and exporter of processed food in sub-Saharan Africa. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
NNPC Limited has adjusted the pump price of PMS, popularly referred to as fuel, across retail outlets. In a statement, the Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPC, stated that this will strive for them to provide quality service. The statement also stated that the prices will continue to fluctuate to reflect market dynamics. NNPC sincerely regrets any inconvenience this development might have caused and greatly appreciates patronage, support and understanding through this time of change and growth. We now bring you a report on the benefits of subsidy removal.
Regulation of the petroleum downstream subsector has been described by experts as a development long overdue if the Nigerian oil and gas industry is to function optimally, drive investment and sustainable growth.
We believe that this will free resources for the NNPC to continue to do the great works that this company will do for our country, and it allows us to continue to function as a very commercial entity.
I'm encouraging all the marketing companies to continue their normal business and ensure that there's flow of petroleum products so that there won't be any energy crisis in the country.
For motorists, the news is being received with mixed feelings, resulting in panic buying to stockpile the product in anticipation of price increase. Others, however, applauded what they called the bold step being taken by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes, this is for our own good, and I guess this decision that the president is taking is a very good decision.
As of this morning, we even discharged our 50,000 liters of petrol, and we are selling at 195 as usual. There are a lot of issues of panic buying since yesterday.
I think the leaders should know the best thing. If it's good for us, they should go ahead.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, during monitoring and enforcement, ensured the reopening of petrol stations which were closed to motorists.
The moment they saw the vehicle of the task force, they opened up, but they had closed and stopped selling before. The same thing here. They were selling from just one nozzle. And it was taking so long. But when they saw the task force on the other side, they now started selling from 4 other nozzles.
I sell every day, and I used to sell all my products. I don't hoard my products.
Sanction is the first thing we are going to do, because there is no reason for anybody to hold this product because it is. What we saw was availability everywhere.
With the ongoing enforcement to ensure fuel is readily available at all filling stations across the country, NMDPRA is urging motorists to remain calm and resist the urge to stockpile products, reiterating that with continuous dispensing of petrol, there is optimism that the queues occasioned by panic buying will gradually disappear. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Natives Pro-Democracy and Anti-Sabotage Group has commended the courage and position of President Bola Tinubu on subsidy removal. The group, at a media briefing in Abuja, wants judicious use of the nation's resources to fast-track delivery of the renewed hope. Salihu Gonera reports.
Subsidy. President Bola Tinubu's pronouncement on fuel subsidy during his inaugural speech has since changed the narrative. Consequently, many have resorted to what experts describe as panic buying. While the people await post-subsidy decision from the relevant authority, the Natives, a pro-democracy group, believes the issue of fuel subsidy has lingered for too long.
We call on Mr. President to give no restraints to security officials to immediately go now after any saboteur in the oil sector, particularly petrol station owners, marketers, tank farm owners who may want to hoard the available fuel in the country.
In another development, Progressive Youth Intellectual is advocating for a cordial relationship among the critical arms of government.
On this note, I am admonishing on all major critical stakeholders of the party, especially the legislature, to, as a matter of national cohesion, comply with this arrangement and eschew all form of grievances.
The group wants APC stakeholders and National Assembly members elect to uphold the decision of party leadership in the choice of principal offices of the would-be 10th National Assembly. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Ekiti State Special Task Force on Petroleum Products has sealed El Tayon Nigeria Limited petrol station in Ado Ekiti, Ekiti State, for selling above the approved pump price. The Special Task Force, headed by Israel Ade Sokan, caught the station's attendant selling petrol to motorists at 600 naira per litre. The chairman of the task force also alleged that the filling station was hoarding the products. Meanwhile, the state's governor, Biodun Oyebanji, at a meeting with petroleum marketers, urged them to await further directives in the implementation of the planned subsidy removal by the federal government and avoid actions that are capable of inflicting hardship on the citizens. We now join Hingino in our Lagos Network Center for more stories on Nationwide. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Ifoma. A feasible economic policy that will create jobs and impact the life of the common man should be the priority of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration as he gets down to business after taking the oath of office as the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Continuation of the reforms in the oil and gas sector and painstaking implementation of the renewed hope template are part of what analysts say should be the focal point of the new administration. Joel Pupola has the report.
In of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the 16th president, a new era has been ushered in Nigeria's political landscape. Amidst the encomiums pouring in for the new sheriff in town, Nigerians want the new administration to hit the ground running to deliver on its campaign promises.
First, security, because that is even the very essence of governance. Once that is secured, I want them to move quickly to see how they can boost the economy.
To ensure that there is a smile on the face of everybody, to ensure that everybody is not hungry. You know, the 4 cardinal programs of the progressives is always there.
Nigerians are also advocating for an all-encompassing economic policy that will energize critical sectors in the nation's economy, such as power, infrastructure, as well as fiscal and monetary policy.
We need to build confidence in our people to trust us. And when confidence is built, then the people can trust, and then you see that Nigerians are very resolute people. They can win, they can succeed anywhere.
The most important thing for the president to do is bring everybody together, work out an acceptable arrangement for national rebirth on the basis of which we can chart an economic development program.
One of the landmarks achievements of the outgone administration is the signing into law of the Petroleum Industry Bill, which is expected to be a catalyst for the growth and development of the oil and gas sector and the economy at large. This, the stakeholders believe, will be a springboard for the success of the Tinubu administration.
This is a good gift to Asiwaju's government to address this issue of subsidy, to address the disruption in supply of petroleum products, because now we can produce almost what we need.
Respondents unanimously agreed that the new administration has the capacity to deliver on its renewed hope agenda. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Nigerian government at all levels have been called upon to enact policies that will aid tobacco farmers transitioning from tobacco plantation to sustainable crop cultivation, as this will strengthen the foundation on which this year's theme, "We need food, not tobacco," can be actualized. These are the views of health and environment experts as the world marks No Tobacco Day. Larry Bilei has details.
On World No Tobacco Day 2023, we're calling on countries to end subsidies for tobacco farming and to shift to sustainable crops.
Tobacco plantation and its use has caused a lot of harm to people's health and the environment. Data by the World Health Organization shows that its widespread use caused 8 million deaths globally. Experts say to tackle the consumption of tobacco right from its source, government needs to intensify efforts in making tobacco farmers transition to sustainable crop cultivation.
A lot of tobacco farmers are so engaged in tobacco growing that they don't have, even the time to grow alternative crops, which is actually healthy and environment friendly.
Although tobacco plantation is on the decline in Nigeria, transitioning from tobacco to crops is not without hitches. The farmers find it hard to grapple with plantation of alternative crops.
There is what we call a predatory monopoly in tobacco growing. You see, when it comes to the relationship between the tobacco farmers and the tobacco companies, what our investigations have revealed to us is that the industry, they have the farmers in the chokehold, that it's difficult for them to come out of that bondage, quote unquote, and do something else.
Experts reeled out these recommendations to government at all levels to ease out the tobacco farmers' transition, provide substantial support to farmers transitioning from tobacco to crops, disclose total acreage allocated to tobacco farming in the country, support establishment of farmers' cooperatives, and support crop diversity programs. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA.
The news continues with Asmao in our Sokoto Network Center after the break. But before then, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
Thank you for joining us here in Sokoto on Nationwide. The Sokoto State Governor, Dr. Ahmed Aliyu Sokoto, has announced the dissolution of all recent appointments, renaming of institutions and land allocations made by former Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. This was stated by the Press Secretary to the Governor, Abubakar Bawa, while briefing newsmen at Government House, Sokoto. Zainab Saidu Abdel Nasser has more.
Briefing newsmen, the Press Secretary to the State Governor Abubakar Bawa said Governor Ahmed Aliyu has nullified all appointments made into the civil service from March 19th forward, the renaming of tertiary institutions and appointments of traditional rulers. All local government sole administrators and caretaker committees have also been dissolved, and they are to hand over to the directors of administration immediately. Also affected are all land allocations and governing boards and parastatals, except statutory boards.
The renaming of tertiary institutions in the state and other appointments related to their governing councils and their relocations announced recently by the outgoing administration are hereby nullified. All the affected institutions are to revert to their former names and locations.
Meanwhile, the state governor has approved the appointment of Ibrahim Umar Arkilla as Acting Director General Pilgrims Welfare Board. The appointment takes immediate effect. In Sokoto, Zainab Saidu Abdul Nasir, NTA News.
Zamfara State Governor Dr. Dauda Lawal says his administration will accord traditional rulers the honor and privilege they deserve for them to assume their rightful position in the society. The governor made the remarks while receiving members of the State Council of Chiefs who paid him a solidarity visit at the Government House, Gusau. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
Members of Zamfara State Council of Chiefs, led by their chairman and emir of Anka, were part of the early callers at the Government House Gusau on a solidarity visit to the new governor, barely 24 hours after his inauguration. Receiving the royal fathers, Dr. Dauda Lawal expressed delight over the visit, describing it as a moral booster. He said his administration will accord the traditional rulers the honor they deserve for them to occupy their rightful position in the society. This, he noted, will spur them to discharge their vital role of supporting his administration to tackle the numerous challenges being faced by the state, especially the issue of insecurity. The governor, who said he is aware of most of the problems that hinder the smooth operation of traditional institutions in Zamfara State, promised to take decisive measures to address them. He enjoined them to remain apolitical, as his doors remain open for their suggestions and observations on how to move the state forward. Earlier, the Emir of Anka and Chairman Zamfara State Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Tahiru Muhammad Ahmad, says the visit is to felicitate with the new governor and to assure him of their solidarity, total support and cooperation, as well as prayers for him to succeed. The governor later met with the monarchs behind closed doors. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and all other social media handles displayed on your screens for updates. The news will continue with Ifoma in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Now, 3 bills on women and gender equality were among the constitution alteration bills that did not make it to the state assemblies. 1 week to the end of the 9th Assembly, the Senate is reconsidering the Gender Equitable and Opportunities Bill. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports.
Item on Senate order of the day was the executive request for payment of judgment debt. There was objection from some senators, led by Senator George Sekibo, demanding that it should be stepped down for the 10th Senate to consider, but the presiding officer ruled otherwise.
Bringing debt loads at the closing point of a vacating Senate, it is not the right thing.
But whatever the merits or the demerits, I think all of those arguments should be presented before the committee. Therefore, I will put it to vote. Those in favor that this be referred to the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Senator Biodo Olujimi once again presented the Gender Equitable and Opportunities Bill before the Senate, ruling out its anticipated contributions to the empowerment of Nigerian women as the bill passed second reading.
The bill seeks to address several forms of issues bedeviling men and women in their constituencies in issues of land ownership, inheritance, education, employment, and rising tide of sexual, gender-based violence.
That areas that are controversial should not be included in the provisions of this bill. So, and I'm saying that in her submissions here, in her submission here, she has not made those areas, she did not tell us what she has seen.
We debated extensively, and the agreement which the Senate President communicated was that we should allow her to consult, and after consultation, bring it back, and they will put it to vote without further debate.
Federal Investor of Petroleum Technology, Ohaji Ebwema, and the Federal Investor of Science and Technology, ONIMO, Imo State Establishment Bills, sponsored by Senator Rochas Okorocha, also passed second reading. Senate adopted the report of its Committee on Public Accounts, which recommended, among other issues, that the executive should address emergency expenditures through supplementary budget and not from service-wide votes. It also adopted the report of its ad hoc committee on the recovery of ground rates due to federal government.
The minister, when we met with him, said the land registry domiciled in the ministry is being digitalized, due to be commissioned in May, that this will promote efficiency and ease of doing business with the ministry.
Senate paid tribute to late Raymond Dobesi, founder of African Independent Television and Ray Power FM, who died Monday this week. It urged the federal government to immortalize him as moved by Senator Francis Ali Mihena. 2 senators resigned their membership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Matthew Urogide, representing Edo South, with immediate effect, while that of Ayo Akinyelure, representing Ondo Central, is to take effect from 11th of June 2023. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Zeal, passion, vigor, and resilience for service to fatherland. These are attributes described of a man who has worked tirelessly in the last 8 years to build Nigeria's diplomatic image on the global front. Former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, was honored by dignitaries as he bows out of service. Kenneth Nanim reports that the former minister feels fulfilled with the achievements made so far in Nigeria's foreign missions.
Diplomats, non-career ambassadors have all converged on Abuja from across Europe, Africa, and the Mediterranean to honor a man whom they believe has contributed his quota in the diplomatic front towards the development of the nation. It was not time for much talk, though, but a time to network, make merry, while also projecting the role of League of Non-Career Ambassadors in building businesses, trade initiatives, allies, and frontier forces for the development of African regions.
There are so many things that I feel Nigeria should emulate from the Czech Republic to improve on so many things. That's one is dedication.
What we have attained in our various endeavors, particularly in the diplomatic circle, will be brought to the fore.
For the dignitaries, the man of the moment is an arrowhead to all of these strides.
Every mission of Nigeria right now have got a functional website that they are controlling at their end, but all hosted from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it's such an amazing success that he's had in the course of the discharge of his duty.
We needed to appreciate a lot of people that were instrumental to spring in the successes that a few of us have been able to leverage on in terms of like the RAMFAC.
I've met gentlemen in my life, but his own in a very special way. He's a complete gentleman.
Having Nigerians in the diaspora to respect the laws of their host countries is one aspect the former Minister Onyama craved concerns.
Also been able to push economic diplomacy. So we've set up a portal that will now make it easy for Nigerian businesses to upload themselves onto the portal and make themselves available and visible to be matched with foreign businesses.
Former Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama and other diplomats were full of gratitude to former President Muhammadu Buhari for the opportunity given to serve. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The governor of Cross River State, Senator Prince Basi Edet Otu, says he has instructed all accounts belonging to the state government to be frozen with immediate effect. The governor was speaking in Calabar during an interface with members of the press. The governor said he has been briefed by the Accountant General and the head of service, and that henceforth all internal generated revenue of the state will be channeled into a single account. On security, Governor Otu said, having held meeting with all security chiefs, he has reiterated that all criminals in the state are advised to accept the amnesty program within the window that will be opened or leave the state immediately. Governor Basiotu also said that he has set up a transition review committee which will be headed by Untufam Fidelis Ubo, with Professor Eyo Etim Inyong as member and Professor Owan Eno as secretary. Addressing the biting fuel crisis in the state, Senator Prince also appealed to oil marketers to open their stations and sell petroleum products to the people, as there is no need to make life too difficult in the states. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has held a meeting with heads of security agencies in the state with a view to improving the security of lives and property of the people. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports.
Though the interaction between the heads of security agencies and the state government was held behind closed doors, Governor Obasani, while briefing journalists after the meeting, says one of the most important agenda of the APC campaign manifesto is security of the citizens, and that is why his first assignment in office is the security meeting to look at the security situation in the entire Kaduna state.
It is very important we look at the security situations in Kaduna state as of now. And I'm quite impressed by the effort of all the security agencies in Kaduna State. They've been doing very well, and I'm also happy with the level of their coordination. So far so good. We have looked at the situation generally as it affects the citizen. And of course, like I said, we are going to maintain the momentum. We'll support them. But one of the most important area we discuss is trying to engage the general public, because we believe security is a role and responsibility of every citizen of Kaduna State.
The governor expressed satisfaction over the performance of the security agencies in the maintenance of peace across Kaduna State. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
The Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Olusegun Ronshawe, says that a new e-library and a viewing center that will capture Nigeria's diverse cultural heritage history and link it up to about 150 countries in the world will soon be opened at the Nigeria's new culture house in Abuja. The Director General, NCAC, who made this known at the International Cultural Tourism Reform for Developing Nations by the Chinese government and academics for international business officials in Beijing, China, said the e-library and viewing center will be strategically deployed to harness basic information, history, and tradition of Nigeria cultural tourism, heritage, and showcasing them to global tourism community, cultural heritage experts, and students of cultural studies all over the world. The platform will also serve as an avenue to tell Nigerian story by Nigerians, which will generate positive discussions and interests about the country. The Nigeria Culture House in Abuja will also serve as the new headquarters of the National Council for Arts and Culture, and is expected to be unveiled in June this year. We now join our Makurdi Network Center for trending stories from that zone.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us in Makurdi. Barely 48 hours into the inauguration of the new administration at the federal and state levels, the call for a better life and good governance has continued to echo from Nigerians across Benue and beyond. Moses Ajao Ode samples the opinions of some residents in Makurdi, the state capital, and reports that they are optimistic for a better society.
The inauguration of a new administration heralded a fresh beginning and the successful transition of the democratic process. While some Nigerians continue to celebrate the peaceful transition process, others lay to bear their expectations from the new government, both at the state and the federal level.
First thing, in earlier year, in the state here, let him look for the welfare of the pensioners.
Because there's a lot that the previous government that just passed out has left behind. And this Tinubu government has to come back to fix things in order. So I pray that the House to actually works very, very hard.
Benue State is a food basket of the nation. So first of all, I would like him to face the challenges in agriculture. Secondly, education is compulsory.
In sustaining the legacies of the past administration, they advised those vested with leadership position to discharge their responsibilities for the good of all, towards providing the basic needs of the people.
So I'm pleading them, they should have a change of heart and hear the voice of God and do the right thing.
I want the new government to at least do well, because the past one, in terms of security, wasn't fine. And other ways, I said, and the government tried, but in terms of security, it wasn't fine at all.
They are assured of their resolve to support the administration towards the sustenance of peace and progress of the state and country in general. In Makurdi, Moses Ajao Udi, NTA News.
Residents of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, have commended the federal government over the removal of fuel subsidies, saying the monies hitherto expended will be channeled to other sectors of the economy for enhanced development. Tena Uma reports.
President Bola Tinubu, during his inaugural speech, had announced the removal of fuel subsidy from July 1st, 2023, saying the payment is no longer tenable and justifiable. Though there have been mixed feelings from Nigerians over the situation, which has led to sudden increase in the price of petrol. Some residents of Makurdi say the decision is timely, as it will go a longer way in addressing other needs of the economy. They appealed to the federal government to provide palliatives to cushion the effects on the people.
The president has done it to the best of his ability, and I think the interest of the nation. In as much as the thing has come so sudden to Nigerians, I think they should be patient with Mr. President. He has come just some few days, and I think he meant well for Nigerians.
It's a good development, but our issue is the policy is so hasty. So today, whatever the intention may be, let's wait and then see the outcome of in the days to come.
Now that it has been removed, the money will now be channeled into very important projects that will have very good effect on the masses. So what is there is that we do expect the federal government to go further to introduce palliatives that will cushion the effect of this removal.
Experts in economy are of the opinion that the new administration should go a step further in fixing the refineries so as to address challenges of fuel scarcity. In Makurdi, Tena Uma, NTA News.
And that's it from Makurdi. It's back to Ifoma in Abuja for more on NTA Nation.
Thanks for staying tuned. The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembas, condoles with friends, family and associates of the Dokpesi family, as well as the management and staff of DAR Communications over the death of the late chairman of DAR Communication, Raymond Dokpesi. Comrade Dembas describes the late media mogul as a visionary leader and a prominent figure in the field of communications, whose dedication was instrumental to the establishment and success of DAR Communications. The DGNTA notes that Dr. S's mark in the media and communication industry will remain indelible and one that will be remembered for years to come. He comforts the family, urging them to take solace in the cherished memories shared with the late Raymond Dokpesi, and also extends his sympathy to the employees of DAR Communications. Yobe State government is deepening commitment towards the attainment of universal health coverage with the establishment of additional 2 medical agencies to enhance emergency medical services and effective supervision in the health sector. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Agencies are Yobe State Emergency Medical Ambulance Services (YEMABUS) and Yobe State Healthcare and Health-Related Facilities Inspection and Monitoring Agency (YOFIMA). The establishment of these agencies was in accordance with the National Policy on Emergency Medical Services aimed at providing prompt and coordinated emergency medical services to all citizens to minimize delays in access to emergency health care, to reduce morbidity, mortality, and save lives.
This administration, since inception, has remained focused to provide effective and efficient healthcare service to all citizens.
Our target is to achieve universal health coverage that brings comprehensive, quality healthcare within reach of our citizens, which we must actually rethink and refit it to the existing primary healthcare.
This strategic investment, stakeholders say, demonstrates the genuine commitment of Yobe State government in reforming the health sector to provide efficient and effective services to people in the state.
Yobe State Health and Health-Related Facilities Inspection and Monitoring Agency will work to ensure adequate clinical monitoring to enhance the quality of care consistent with state standards and guidelines.
Yobe is the first state in northern Nigeria to institutionalize emergency medical ambulance services as well as quality assurance and control. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
A one-day capacity building on emergency exercise aimed at enlightening emergency respondents and members of the public has been held at the Ilorin International Airport. The training, which was at the instance of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, affords stakeholders and responding agencies the opportunity to know their duties and how to discharge them during emergency situations. Ahmed Fulani reports that participants were drawn from security agencies, emergency response agencies, the media, and community leaders.
Emergency situation is described as a difficult and unexpected incident that requires quick response from emergency responders and members of the public. How to professionally respond to emergency situations is therefore the reason for this gathering that affords participants opportunity to learn more. Various groups that deliberated on emergency situations and responses suggested synergy among all the relevant stakeholders on emergency situation, including the media.
The purpose of an emergency exercise is to evaluate the preparedness and capabilities of an airport, its tenants, and the response agencies.
Overcrowding is a major hiccup experienced in an emergency situation, and as such, emergency responders and security agencies must design methods to overcome such. Organizers of the seminar and the participants could not agree less with the timing of the program, noting that it will improve responses to emergencies.
The media has a very crucial role to play in covering an emergency situation, and for us in the NTA, we have not been found wanting.
Timely information to security agencies to respond to emergency situations should be taken very seriously.
At the end of the seminar, emergency responders are expected to be equipped with prerequisite knowledge that will ensure they respond to emergency situations with a view to reducing casualties from international airports in Ilorin. Ahmed Fulani, NTA News.
A rising concern among medical experts around the world is on the new trend of tobacco intake called vaping. Aisha Ubali in this report is looking at concerted efforts of government and other partners as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark No Tobacco Day.
Yeah, people where they even smoke. See, sometimes if you even enter my nose, but I go even the perfume the smell from my mouth.
Me particularly, I don't smoke, because I know the side effects and the implications of smoking.
On the streets of Abuja, these respondents seem to know the dangers associated with the intake of tobacco, while those in the business of taking tobacco refuse to speak to NTA on camera. The side effects of smoking, medical experts describe as enormous, especially with the warning coming from the manufacturers that smokers are liable to die young.
It has been identified that tobacco has a lot of disadvantages to the system, particularly the people that are smoking. The smoking alone, the smoke that comes out, we've identified that it has over 7,000 noxious substance there. And of these 7,000, about 2,500 of them, have been found to be carcinogenous. So that is, carcinogenous means that it can cause cancer. All still carry the same challenge, predisposing one to cancers from the lip, from to the larynx, to the lungs.
In Nigeria, the 2014 Tobacco Act was a legislative tool to help check the increasing trend of tobacco intake. The theme for this year is "We Need Food, Not Tobacco," and the 2023 global campaign aims at raising awareness about alternative crop production and marketing opportunities for tobacco farmers, with a view to encouraging them to grow sustainable, nutritious crops.
People around the world are going hungry while 3 million hectares of our planet are used to grow tobacco. It's time to redirect our efforts towards agriculture that nourishes our bodies and our environment.
Growing tobacco also is said to contribute to deforestation of 200,000 hectares annually. In 2020, 22.3% of the global population reports say used tobacco, 36.7% of the menfolk, and 7.8% of the world's women. Since 1987, when the World Health Organization adopted the last day in May as World No Tobacco Day, countries have continually created awareness but still need to step up legislation and develop strategies to assist in achieving on the global campaign goals. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide for today. We thank you for being part of our production. Thanks for watching once again. Bye for now.